So you can confirm. And you can be very happy with this because it's only May 1936. You get some amazing modifiers. That's why I told you that you don't need to worry about stability. As you can see, stability is straight at 100%, so nothing to worry about there. We already have a very big industry and we are already on war economy. And from now on, the strategy gets even more interesting, even more aggressive. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are diving into the best and easiest path to win the British Civil War as fascist UK. This is a perfect intro for what is coming next week with the full country guide to the most powerful path in the game. If that sounds interesting, you're in the right place. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and make sure to join our Discord to meet our amazing community. And guys, if you enjoy my content, please do not forget to support the channel by liking, subscribing and leaving a comment. It really makes a big difference. With that said, let's get started. As always guys, the research and focus priorities all the way up to the Civil War will be listed in the description of the video, so they will not be covered in the guide itself. You can also get access to the dedicated spreadsheet already covering the entire run, as well as many other perks by joining as a tier 2 member. Now, since we are going for a very aggressive run in this case, we build military factories from the very beginning in the best provinces available in the UK. This is the suggested military production priority, and naval production I usually leave it to default with some convoys added at the end, but that's entirely free and up to you. What we want to do, again not important for the Civil War but important for the run, is you want to create an agency right away. Now let's get to the important part of the setup. How do we prepare our army for the Civil War? As here we are going to use some very interesting tricks. So first of all, we can select all of our divisions. Now, in other runs, I showed you how deleting all of your divisions can be convenient to make the Civil War easier. That's the case, for example, in India. Now, in this case, when the Civil War starts, both you and Democratic UK get some militia spawned. So you get some additional divisions, which means the UK will not be completely without divisions. Moreover, I'm not very much in favor of deleting our starting army, as we want to use it in the rest of the run, and re-recruiting it will take too long. So we're going to use this army, and of course we're going to lose about half of it to Democratic UK when the Civil War starts. But there is a little very cool trick that we can do with that. So first of all, we're going to split off all of the cavalry divisions we have in the main army. It should be only 3. Then let's rename some of these divisions to make it easier to follow, especially if you're following the spreadsheet. So what we care about the most is this colonial template, which will become our def. And use the usual icon, I go for this one. And the cavalry, which will be just cav. So we should have 3 cav, and everything else we actually want to change into def. Now we want to make an army of 24 def, so we're going to give everything else to the cav. So we have a full army of def and an army with cav and def. Now the important part, we are going to request forces from all of our subjects. And this is going to be incredibly cool. You will see in a bit. The part in which you request forces is not very fun, but make sure not to forget any of your subjects. Now, to make sure that you did it correctly, when you assign them to a new army, you should have a total of 51. And if you lack some, it means you didn't request them from everyone, so make sure to do that. Now, we're going to take 3 random puppet divisions and assign them to the cavalry defensive army, and then we should have another 2 full armies of 24. So these are the armies that we want for the Civil War. In the Civil War, of course, you lose all of the dominions. All of your dominions and subjects stay with the democratic side. The funny thing is, if you request their army now, the army will stay with you. In fact, not only it will stay with you while you're at war with the UK, it will stay with you even when you declare war on all of the subjects. So you can use their armies to fight against them, which is crazy, but pretty fun. So now what do we do with these armies? We want to position them very carefully. The initial positioning is very important. So the smaller army, we're going to give them a fallback line just north of Glasgow and Edinburgh. The other army of 24 defensive divisions will be positioned in the area of Newcastle. Again, use fallback lines. Then the important ones, because of course we're going to use half of these armies when the Civil War starts, about half of them. But the puppet armies will remain entirely under our control, which is amazing. So we're going to use one on a fallback line from Newcastle to Leicester, something like this. And the last one will be in this area here. So give them a fallback line more or less like this. And this is the setup for the Civil War. Now we're going for a very aggressive strategy, so we're actually rushing the Civil War. We start with this focus, the next one is this one, and it's already Civil War time. We also want to gather all planes and start training them. They are not needed, but they can help in the Civil War. We also want to start training all of these divisions. We still have some time that we are going to use for that. You can gather up the Navy if you want, but don't train the Navy or you will run completely out of fuel. By the way, I'm going to ignore the scientist and the facility, but you can assign it, of course. You can get some experience daily. I don't particularly care about naval technologies, but that's entirely up to you. Don't forget to upgrade the agency when you get it. My recommended default upgrades are the suicide pills and then all of the departments. But again, that's up to you. When you get the spy, start spying the US in the Hawaii. At least our spy is going to have a good time. When you get this event pick, we show back the Turks. You will always win. And we're almost done with our Civil War focus very, very quickly. And there we go. So now we unlock these new special decisions that you can pick in each province. And that will turn the province in your favor in the Civil War. Now we're going to follow a very precise strategy. It's not the only strategy, but it is a very safe and consistent one. Another important thing is until the end of the Civil War, we're not going to pick focuses anymore. Now, when you go below 50% stability, the Civil War will trigger, but not right away, which means you can pick more of these decisions that you normally would. And also don't worry about going much below 50% stability, as that won't matter at all after the Civil War. So in which states are we picking this special decision? We start from the north and we go for this one. You need to wait for the event to trigger. There we go. Then this one. Then we go for this one, for this one, for this one, for this one. We go for East Anglia, this one, and we go for this one. As you can see, our stability is already much below 50%, but the Civil War is not triggering yet. So technically you could pick even more of these, but with this setup, the Civil War will be extremely easy. There will be only a couple of victory points that we need to get, and it will be over very soon. So we left them these victory points in the north. They will retain Liverpool, but they usually lose London right away with this strategy, which is amazing because London would be 173 political power, but we get it for free. So at this point, we also want to stop training our divisions, otherwise they will not be fully ready for the Civil War. And now we can continue the game. In 1 day, the Civil War will, or 2 days, the Civil War will trigger because we are below the required stability. There we go. So Civil War time. So let me show you what the situation is right here. As you can see, with this strategy, we take some of the victory points right away. For example, Edinburgh. We didn't pay for it, but we got it for free. We got London, and you always get it. It's not random. And we only need to take a few more to end the Civil War. As you can see, the UK is already 34% towards capitulation. And then, as I was mentioning earlier, you can also see how all dominions, all subjects are on their side, but their armies are on our side, entirely under our control. Now, we also want to assign the generals at this point because we still need to push them a little bit, so we need to win some fights. And we are not very much in a hurry, as we plan to do some things before the end of the Civil War. I usually promote this guy as Marshal, he's pretty good, so let's go with him. And then I prioritize generally offensive generals. Just random ones, but with good offensive stats. We also want to give them the highest motorization priority and aggressively execute battle plans. Now we can change these fallback lines into actual offensive lines. So of course the army that was in the north, and not only that, you spawned some new divisions. You can select all of the ones in the north and give them to that army, and the other ones you can give them to this army. So army in the north, regular offensive line or spearhead, both are fine. Then the other army that we have in here, again we want to push up here, that's the most important part, especially Liverpool.
Ready, sir.
This army will also be pushing in the area of Liverpool. And finally, we have the Southern Army, which has the goal of pushing these last 2 victory points down here. Now, generally speaking, I would recommend starting the pushes right away. No need to wait, as they don't have that many divisions, so don't let them get in position. Whenever you see an opening, maybe rush a bit with the cavalry.
Ready, sir.
Here, for example, you can get Manchester for free, basically.
Yes, sir.
Be able to get Liverpool. Usually they can reinforce Liverpool from somewhere else, but if they cannot, that's pretty cool. So we don't want to win the civil war yet, because we have some stuff to do before that. But... okay, now they managed to send somebody to Liverpool, maybe through the harbor. Oh yeah, by the way, don't forget to assign the planes. As I say, they are not needed, but they can help. And guys, keep an eye on the UK. Make sure that before they capitulate, like for example, now we're about to take Dover, and Liverpool seems to be very close to going down as well. So the civil war is basically already over. But before it is over... okay. That's... oh, that's fine. They are not fully down yet, it seems. So maybe it didn't record Liverpool yet. In any case, before it's fully over, you want to do a couple of things. You want to declare war on all of the subjects. Now, since there are a lot of subjects, you want to be careful here. It's 11 of them, so my recommendation would be to count as you declare war on them. So like 1, 2, 3. Maybe there is a faster way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, so we got all of them. There is something else cool that you can do right now, because we increase the war tension by a lot, and we increase our war support by a lot as a consequence. So right now, you can also go here and you can pick a domestic film industry. This will send you above 50% war support, and you can immediately pick war economy, an incredibly early war economy that will massively boost us for the rest of the run. Now, you can finish the civil war. It looks like Glasgow may be the last victory point in the end. Sometimes it's even a bit faster than this, but as you can see, we do need the 200 political power for war economy. So we don't want to be too fast overall. There we go. So the war is over. Of course, you get 100% of the score, and you get all of the dominions in that, so you can annex all of them, and you should annex all of them. Now, this will be for the next part of the run, but what you absolutely want to do in the civil war is you want to annex everything, which is UK, of course, that's your core, you want to keep it. So you start maybe with annexing the mainland. Don't worry too much about the navy, because you will take it anyway, the UK navy, but with the remaining points you can start taking it in the peace conference. But what you need to do is you need to annex all dominions, because if you puppet them, they will break free. So you want to annex them instead. This is only the case for dominions, so what you do for everything else in here is entirely up to you. You can, you need to annex this part here. But you can decide to puppet or to annex the rest of the land of the UK. If you want to maximize the results, actually puppeting them and balkanizing them is the best strategy, is the best choice. But if you prefer to have the map painted in your color, if you're going for a war conquest, which makes a lot of sense as the UK, you can simply annex all of them. Now, even if you decide to puppet everyone, make sure to go back into annex, because the UK has some other stuff that cannot be puppeted. You want to take all of it. You don't want the UK to remain alive. So take everything. So you can confirm. And you can be very happy with this, because it's only May 1936. You get some amazing modifiers. That's why I told you that you don't need to worry about stability. As you can see, stability is straight at 100%. So nothing to worry about there. We already have a very big industry, and we are already on war economy. And from now on, the strategy gets even more interesting, even more aggressive. But no spoilers. For that, make sure to check out the full country guide coming next week. And that's all for our civil war guide. You're now in the perfect spot to do anything you want. But the perfect optimized strategy for this will come next week, and it will involve coring a lot of stuff very early. It's a very cool strategy, by far the most overpowered path in the game, so make sure not to miss it. And let me know what you thought about this civil war strategy. I think this was pretty much perfectly optimized to end the civil war quickly enough, but give us enough time and political power to switch to war economy and take all dominions. And of course, I really enjoyed the trick where we steal their armies and use them against them. That's pretty fun. Still, if you see any potential improvements, make sure to let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye bye!